Anunnaki and Atlanteans are really, in my opinion, the same exact people. Atlantis is everywhere. We are all standing and sitting on Atlantis at this exact moment. The Ring City, in my opinion, was just one of many capitals on Earth. But my personal opinion is the Anunnaki are the Atlanteans.
Billy Carson, a prominent figure in the realm of alternative history and ancient astronaut theories, has developed a comprehensive narrative about the reasons behind the Anunnaki's visit to Earth. Drawing from ancient texts, mythology, and speculative theories, Carson provides a multifaceted explanation for the Anunnaki's arrival on our planet. So why did they come to planet Earth?
There was an ancient galactic war there. This created something called space refugees.
One of the central themes in the interpretation is the Anunnaki's need for gold. According to these theories, the Anunnaki required gold for their home planet, Nibiru. It is posited that gold had unique properties vital for Nibiru's atmosphere or technological needs. This aligns with Zecharia Sitchin's interpretations of Sumerian texts, suggesting that the Anunnaki used gold to create a protective shield for their planet's atmosphere, reflecting cosmic radiation and stabilizing their environment. Upon discovering Earth, the Anunnaki identified it as a rich source of gold. They established extensive mining operations, primarily in regions like southern Africa, where ancient gold mines have been found.
There was this place in South Africa called Adam's Calendar, where they found the very first gold mines that human beings were working underneath their boot.
The most notable of these ancient mining sites is the Barberton Greenstone Belt. The Barberton Greenstone Belt, located in South Africa, is one of the oldest geological formations on Earth and contains some of the oldest gold mines known to humanity. It dates back approximately 3.5 to 3.2 billion years. This area is famous for its gold deposits, which have been mined for thousands of years. According to the theories, the Anunnaki established their mining operations in this region due to its rich gold reserves. The mines in this area, such as those found in Mpumalanga, are believed to have been used by ancient civilizations, possibly influenced by the Anunnaki.
Now, what's interesting about these aliens is that they're not little green men with antennae. They look just like us.
An example of these ancient mines is the Ngwenya mine, located in Swaziland, which is considered one of the world's oldest mines. Archaeological evidence suggests that mining activities at Ngwenya date back more than 43,000 years. Theorists propose that such ancient mining sites may have been part of the Anunnaki's extensive network of gold extraction operations. Initially, the Anunnaki themselves conducted the mining work. These beings, according to the theories, possessed advanced technology and physical capabilities that allowed them to undertake the arduous task of gold mining. However, despite their advanced abilities, the laborious and hazardous nature of the mining process soon became a significant challenge. The harsh conditions and intensive labor required for gold extraction prompted the Anunnaki to seek alternative solutions to sustain their operations. Faced with the need to alleviate the demanding physical labor, the Anunnaki explored several alternatives before resorting to the creation of a new labor force through genetic engineering. These alternatives included automated machines and tools. The Anunnaki might have initially utilized advanced machinery designed to perform mining tasks. These machines, though efficient, may have required constant maintenance and lacked the adaptability needed for varied mining conditions. Another possibility is that the Anunnaki might have employed workers from other planets or even their own ranks. However, the sheer scale and prolonged nature of the mining operations could have rendered this approach unsustainable. Before creating modern humans, the Anunnaki might have experimented with other native species on Earth to enhance their abilities for labor. These experiments might have led to the creation of various hybrid beings mentioned in ancient myths and legends. Ultimately, the Anunnaki decided to create a new species that could effectively handle the labor-intensive mining operations. This decision led to what is known as the Adamu experiment, where the Anunnaki combined their DNA with that of early hominids to produce a hybrid species, Homo sapiens.
We actually look like them.
Okay.
And the reason why is because we have their genetics and their DNA inside of our bodies.
The primary reason for genetically modifying humans was to create a labor force capable of performing the strenuous and repetitive tasks required for mining gold. The Anunnaki sought a species that was intelligent enough to follow complex instructions, but still docile and subservient. By blending their DNA with that of early hominids, the Anunnaki aimed to produce beings who possessed the physical endurance and adaptability of Earth's native species, combined with the intelligence and technological proficiency of the Anunnaki. The Adamu experiment involved the creation of the first humans, Adam and Eve, as laborers. This concept parallels the biblical creation story, but with an extraterrestrial twist. The term Adamu is used in Sumerian texts to refer to the first man, created by the god Enki and the goddess Ninhursag. These deities, interpreted as Anunnaki scientists, conducted a series of genetic experiments to develop a suitable human workforce. The initial experiments by the Anunnaki focused on combining their own DNA with that of various indigenous species on Earth. These early attempts resulted in numerous failures and partial successes, producing beings that either lacked the necessary intelligence, physical capabilities, or docility required for effective labor. The Anunnaki had specific requirements for their workforce. They needed the beings to be intelligent enough to understand and carry out complex instructions. Mining for gold was labor-intensive and required significant physical strength and stamina, so physical endurance was a must. The new species needed to be adaptable to various environmental conditions and able to learn and develop new skills as needed. To ensure a sustainable workforce, the beings needed to reproduce naturally, eliminating the need for the Anunnaki to continuously create new workers. While intelligence and adaptability were crucial, it was equally important that the beings remain subservient and manageable to prevent rebellion or resistance. Through a meticulous process of trial and error, the Anunnaki scientists, Enki and Ninhursag, eventually created the first successful prototypes of modern humans. By splicing Anunnaki DNA with that of early hominids, the scientists were able to introduce advanced cognitive abilities and enhanced physical traits. This genetic intervention was aimed at elevating the primitive hominids' capabilities to meet the labor demands. Once the new humans, referred to as Adamu, were created, they underwent training to learn the specific tasks required in mining and other labor-intensive activities. This ensured that they could perform their duties efficiently. Additionally, the Anunnaki scientists carefully integrated traits that promoted loyalty and subservience. This was done to ensure that the humans remained compliant and did not challenge the authority of their creators. The narrative about the Anunnaki posits that these ancient extraterrestrial beings created humans for the purpose of mining gold, a resource they needed for their home planet, Nibiru. This raises intriguing questions about the long-term implications for humanity and whether the Anunnaki might return to collect the gold. According to the interpretation, the Anunnaki might have decided that it was more efficient to let humans mine gold slowly over thousands of years, rather than attempting to extract it rapidly, even with their advanced technology. This theory could be based on several factors. First, even with advanced technology, the sheer volume of gold embedded in the Earth's crust may have made rapid extraction impractical. The process of mining gold is labor-intensive and time-consuming, involving complex geological formations that even the Anunnaki might have found challenging to exploit quickly. By creating humans and providing them with the necessary skills and knowledge to mine gold, the Anunnaki ensured a self-sustaining system. Humans, driven by their own economic and cultural incentives, would continue to mine gold, gradually accumulating the resource without the need for continuous intervention from the Anunnaki. Additionally, the Anunnaki might have envisioned a long-term strategy where gold is slowly accumulated over millennia. This approach would ensure a steady supply of gold, allowing the Anunnaki to return periodically to collect the amassed reserves without having to manage daily operations. Another intriguing theory is that world nations could be secretly collecting gold from their citizens to give it to the Anunnaki. Governments around the world hold significant gold reserves, often under the guise of financial stability and economic security. These reserves are collected through various means, including gold taxes, purchasing programs, and confiscation during times of crisis. According to this theory, there might be clandestine agreements between world leaders and the Anunnaki. These agreements would stipulate that a portion of the gold reserves be set aside for the Anunnaki, who periodically visit Earth to collect their share. The theory could draw on historical events where governments have seized gold from their citizens, such as the United States Executive Order 6102 in 1933, which required citizens to turn in their gold. Such events could be interpreted as part of a broader, long-term plan to gather gold for the Anunnaki. The global financial system, with its emphasis on gold as a stable asset, might be part of a grand design to ensure that sufficient quantities of gold are available for the Anunnaki. Central banks and financial institutions could be complicit in this secret agenda, managing the flow of gold to meet extraterrestrial demands.
Thoth talks in the Emerald Tablets about being able to go into these halls of Amenti where he had rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe is the Serapeum in Saqqara. And he would go into these gigantic stone boxes, and he would then transfer his consciousness from his body into another body. And he would leave the body that he left inside of one of those gigantic boxes, one of those gigantic diorite stone boxes for 100 years while it recharged itself and rejuvenated. While he said he walks amongst men, but unlike a man. And he would do this for eons. He would transfer from body to body, not bodies he stole, bodies he created, that he created himself through probably some of the advanced form of stem cell technology. And he would walk amongst men, but unlike a man. And he was known all around the planet. And it's an incredible tablet that talks about the reigns of kings.
Yeah.
Some kings ruled for 28,800 years, 14,000 years. I mean, 20,000. If the numbers are insane.
These are not Egyptian?
This is no, not Egyptian. These are Anunnaki.
Imagine a world where time itself is a malleable force, where the boundary between life and death blurs, and immortality is no longer a dream, but a carefully guarded secret. This is the legend of Thoth, the mysterious god of wisdom from ancient Egypt. He is said to have discovered the key to eternal life, not through mysticism, but through methods that defy modern understanding. Could the ancient Egyptians have had access to technologies beyond our grasp, or is there something deeper hidden in the sands of time? Our journey begins at the Serapeum of Saqqara, an ancient site where massive stone boxes, weighing over 70 tons, were carved with such precision that even modern engineers are baffled. These boxes, made from solid diorite, one of the hardest stones in the world, seem impossible to have been created with the tools of the ancient world. But what if these were not merely tombs for the dead? What if they were advanced technologies, allowing beings like Thoth to rejuvenate and transfer their consciousness into new bodies, effectively cheating death? Legend tells us that Thoth would leave his body in one of these boxes for 100 years, allowing it to recharge and heal while his essence continued in another form. Could this explain why Thoth, the god of knowledge, was so revered across cultures and millennia? If these rejuvenation chambers are real, could they hold the secrets to eternal life? And was Thoth's quest for immortality unique, or did others throughout history share this secret? To find more answers, we turn to Mesopotamia, where the Sumerian kings list records the reigns of rulers who lived for tens of thousands of years. Among them were the Anunnaki, demigods with both divine and earthly attributes. Some reigned for 28,000 years, others for 14,000 years, lifespans that defy all reason. What could possibly explain these impossibly long reigns? Did these rulers possess knowledge that could extend their lives, similar to Thoth? Or was their understanding of life and genetic engineering even more advanced? The mystery deepens when we examine the Great Flood, a cataclysmic event mentioned in both Sumerian and biblical texts. This disaster marked the end of the antediluvian kings who ruled before the flood. Afterward, kingship was reintroduced, but the reigns were far shorter. Some rulers lived for hundreds of years, but the era of reigns, stretching tens of thousands of years, was over. Why did this change occur? Could it be that the Anunnaki, who once ruled humanity, decided to limit the power of their successors? The texts suggest that these new rulers were still connected to the divine, but they were no longer immortal. Could the Great Flood have been a deliberate reset of human civilization to control human potential, preventing any individual from becoming too powerful? This leads us to an intriguing connection between ancient myth and modern science, genetic engineering. We know today that the human genome contains a unique anomaly, chromosome number 2, which appears to have been artificially fused. Geneticists estimate that this fusion occurred around 200,000 years ago, a timeline that aligns with the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki creating humans. Could this be evidence of genetic modification? Were humans deliberately created to serve the Anunnaki, not just as laborers but as subordinates? Could our very lifespan, about 120 years, have been engineered as a form of control? Modern science also tells us that telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes, limit how many times a cell can divide. Once they degrade, we age and eventually die. In the Bible, it states that man's days shall be 120 years. Could this be a reflection of deliberate genetic tampering by the gods? Was humanity created with a built-in expiration date, ensuring we never lived long enough to rediscover the ancient knowledge of our creators? One of the most compelling stories supporting this theory is the Tower of Babel. Humans, united in their ambition, began constructing a tower to reach the heavens. Their goal was to reclaim the lost knowledge of the gods. But their efforts were stopped by Yahweh, also known as Enlil in Sumerian texts, who feared humanity was advancing too quickly. Enlil intervened, confusing their languages and scattering them across the earth. More importantly, he shortened human lifespans, ensuring no single generation would live long enough to challenge the gods again. Could the Tower of Babel have been more than just a symbol of human pride? Was it an effort to reclaim our lost potential, one that was deliberately suppressed by the gods? Could it be that our entire history has been shaped by a hidden agenda, a grand design orchestrated by beings like the Anunnaki? Have these forces deliberately limited human development to prevent us from reaching our full potential? Are our lifespans, societal divisions, and languages all part of a long-term plan to keep humanity from rediscovering its ancient knowledge? As we piece together this ancient puzzle, we are left with unsettling questions. Were we created with limitations deliberately set to keep us subservient? Could it be that the division of cultures and the loss of ancient knowledge were part of a grand design to control human progress? Or is there a forgotten history, a legacy waiting to be rediscovered, that could unlock the mysteries of our origins, and perhaps our future? But what if these stories are not just myths? What if they are fragments of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that could offer profound insight into the hidden history of human existence? Let's return to the idea of genetic manipulation. Modern science has uncovered a unique anomaly in the human genome, chromosome 2, fused in a way that no other species on Earth exhibits. This genetic event is believed to have occurred around 200,000 years ago, a timeline eerily close to the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki creating humans for labor. If this fusion was deliberate, what does it mean for humanity? Could we have been engineered to serve the needs of an advanced race wielding power beyond our understanding? Here's the real question. Could we still be under this influence today? As we unlock the mysteries of the human genome, are we on the verge of rediscovering the knowledge hidden from us for thousands of years? Could telomeres, once thought to be a natural limitation, hold the key to extending life far beyond what we've believed is possible? And if so, are there still forces at play, preventing humanity from rising to its full potential? The truth may be hidden in ancient texts, unexplored history, or perhaps even encoded within our DNA. As we continue to explore these mysteries, the lines between myth, science, and reality will blur. The question remains, are we ready to discover the truth?
At least 6,000 years in the past, when gigantic spaceships revolved around the old Earth. Many old Indian texts exist And there you can read in detail that thousands of years ago, gigantic spaceships revolved around our planet. Spaceships, they called them cities on the firmament. They didn't have a word for spaceship at that time. One day, smaller vehicles flew down from these cities to the Earth. For the people on Earth, it looked as if 10,000s of shooting stars were falling down. Now, was this all just the imagination? Fantasies? No. The details are too precise and they are linked with other old writings from around the world. Do you remember the story of the archangel Lucifer? He went to the throne of the Almighty God and said, "We don't serve you anymore." Then God ordered the archangel Michael to fight against Lucifer and to throw him out and his disciples out of heaven. But, ladies and gentlemen, a war in heaven, in a place which is absolutely happiness, is impossible. If you are united with the Almighty God, you are completely happy. And in happiness, you make neither opposition nor war. Therefore, we must change the word heaven into the word space. Why? Because many of our ancestors were brought into the heavens. Not only Arjuna from the Indian mythology, but also the biblical Elijah, Enoch, or our primogenitor Abraham. All these figures were educated in heaven, and when they returned safe to earth, so heaven was space.
At first glance, a carved symbol of a simple handbag on an ancient artifact might seem unremarkable, a mundane detail easily overlooked. But take a step back, and the mystery deepens. This same handbag symbol appears across the globe, in Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica, Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, and even on remote islands. Cultures separated by vast distances and centuries, seemingly without contact, all depicted the same mysterious object. What are these handbags, and why do they appear in cultures that, by all accounts, should have had no knowledge of one another? This global phenomenon has puzzled archaeologists for generations. The places where these handbag carvings appear are as varied as they are vast. In Mesopotamia, the symbol shows up in the art of the Sumerians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. Across the ocean, it's found in pre-Aztec and pre-Mayan Olmec cultures and the ancient tribes of Veracruz. The 12,000-year-old site of Göbekli Tepe, one of the world's oldest known religious complexes, also features carvings of the handbag. The sheer spread of this symbol raises a compelling question. Why? Mainstream archaeologists have proposed a simple explanation. Perhaps these carvings simply depict mundane bags, common objects across all cultures. After all, bags are universal. Maybe the handbags were just practical items, like bowls or tools, depicted as part of everyday life. But these carvings tell a different story. The handbags are rarely shown in ordinary scenes. Instead, they appear in sacred contexts, held by deities or featured in mythological depictions. Far from everyday objects, they seem to carry deeper significance. Why would a common item appear consistently alongside gods, divine symbols, and cosmic depictions? It's not just their recurrence that fascinates researchers, it's their uniformity. Despite the diversity of cultures, the handbags appear almost identical in form. Same shape, same size. Even the way they are held is similar across continents. If these cultures developed independently, why would they all depict the same object in the exact same way? Could this be more than coincidence? Some researchers propose that the handbags might represent something far more profound, the cosmos itself. In this theory, the semicircular handle symbolizes the sky, while the square base represents the earth. Together, the union of heaven and earth, the divine and material worlds. It's a tempting interpretation, given how many ancient cultures had detailed cosmological knowledge. But such a simplistic depiction feels out of place compared to the intricate ways these civilizations usually represented the cosmos. Why would sophisticated cultures opt for such minimalism? Another theory suggests these handbags are remnants of advanced technology from a forgotten age. In an Assyrian relief, figures holding handbags stand around the Tree of Life. Some suggest the tree could resemble a Tesla coil, a device invented by Nikola Tesla to transmit wireless electricity. In this theory, the handbags might have functioned like batteries, storing power generated by such Tesla-like devices. This theory isn't confined to Mesopotamia. In Egypt, some symbols that resemble Tesla coils have been found, with the Ankh symbol possibly representing ancient energy transmission. Could these handbags have been tools used in a lost energy network, carrying knowledge or power? The mystery deepens even further in Central America. In one Olmec carving, the god Quetzalcoatl cradles a figure holding a handbag. Some suggest that the figure may be seated in a flying machine powered by the handbag. A similar carving from Veracruz depicts a figure resembling a modern astronaut, complete with what looks like a life support system. Could these handbags be the keys to understanding lost technologies from an ancient civilization? There is another theory, one that ties these mysterious carvings together in a profound way. The handbags, some believe, represent the transfer of divine knowledge. It's not just the handbags themselves that matter, it's who is holding them. Across cultures, these handbags are often depicted in the hands of gods or figures directly linked to the foundation of civilization. In Assyrian reliefs, figures holding handbags are often depicted around the Tree of Life, a symbol of divine knowledge and creation. In their hands, they also hold pine cones, symbols of enlightenment and spiritual awakening. The pine cone has long been associated with the pineal gland, or third eye, believed in many cultures to be the seat of spiritual consciousness. Could these carvings be depicting divine beings passing sacred knowledge to humans? Similar depictions can be found in India, where the handbag is shown in front of Shiva, the god of creation and transformation. In Indonesia, the handbag is seen with Panji, a cultural hero who, like Quetzalcoatl and Oannes, brought wisdom and knowledge to his people. These figures share a common thread. They are the bringers of culture and civilization, lifting humanity from its primitive state. Historian Graham Hancock proposes that these handbags were symbols of an ancient brotherhood of sages, a global network of teachers who traveled the world, spreading knowledge and helping early humans build their civilizations. In both the myths of Quetzalcoatl and Oannes, these figures do not appear alone. They are often accompanied by other sages, suggesting an elite group guiding the progress of humanity. Hancock believes these stories align with the dramatic leap in human development that occurred around 10,000 BCE. Before this period, humans had lived as nomadic hunter-gatherers for millennia, making slow progress in technology and culture. Then, seemingly overnight, they developed agriculture, writing, and metalworking. Hancock suggests this leap may not have been the result of natural evolution, but the intervention of these ancient sages who passed their knowledge to humanity. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence for Hancock's theory is the site of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Dating back to 9,600 BCE, it is one of the oldest known religious complexes, and among its intricate carvings, the handbag symbol appears once again. Could Göbekli Tepe have been a gathering place for these ancient knowledge bearers, from which civilization spread across the globe? Hancock suggests these sages may have belonged to a forgotten civilization, one destroyed in a great cataclysm, perhaps the flood described in both biblical and Mesopotamian texts. According to legend, survivors of this cataclysm carried their knowledge across the world, establishing new civilizations. In this way, the handbags could symbolize the transfer of this sacred knowledge, the tools of a brotherhood that laid the foundation for the modern world. As the investigation continues, the mystery only deepens. Could the handbags represent the passing of divine knowledge, or were they tools to access lost technologies? Do they reflect a shared cosmological belief across ancient cultures? While definitive answers remain elusive, these carvings challenge everything we think we know about the ancient world.
You had survivors of two types. Those who survived by the luck of the draw, and those who survived because they knew it was going to happen. They planned for it, they prepared for it.
You think they knew it was going to happen?
I think we could make a strong argument that somebody did know.
The Nibiru cataclysm theory and Randall Carlson's repeating cataclysm theory both delve into the realm of catastrophic events impacting Earth, yet they stem from markedly different foundations and implications.
Now what we do is we throw some type of an impact into the mix. It seems to fill gaps that were, at this point, still unexplained.
The Nibiru cataclysm theory posits the existence of a rogue planet, Nibiru, which supposedly passes through our solar system with an elongated orbit, causing gravitational upheavals and potentially catastrophic events on Earth every 3,600 years. This theory, largely based on interpretations of ancient texts, emphasizes a single extraterrestrial trigger for apocalyptic events. In contrast, Randall Carlson's theory is grounded in geological and astronomical evidence, suggesting that Earth has undergone periodic cataclysmic events due to a variety of natural causes, including comet impacts, volcanic eruptions, and ice age cycles.
One of the scenarios would certainly suggest that there were extreme climate changes.
Carlson, a self-taught geologist and scholar of ancient mythology, argues that these repeating cataclysms have shaped human history and the Earth's geology over millennia. While the Nibiru theory focuses on a specific, externally driven cataclysm linked to ancient myths, is there a possible hidden connection between Earth's cataclysms and Nibiru in space?
There had to be something we needed to look at that triggered the extreme climate changes that we do see.
The term Nibiru is deeply embedded in Sumerian and Babylonian mythology. It's a name that not only evokes the mysteries of the stars, but also connects us to the divine beliefs and astronomical prowess of ancient Mesopotamian cultures.
So when we're looking back at Sumer, those are the people that are sort of reinventing and relearning.
Well, part of our modern psychology is to imagine that we are somehow so far advanced.
Nibiru is linked to the god Marduk, a central figure in the Babylonian pantheon. Marduk represents the meeting point of power, divinity, and cosmic order, highlighting Nibiru's immense significance in religious texts and its crucial role in the astronomical and calendrical systems of that era. When it comes to the astronomical significance of Nibiru, the Babylonians held it in high esteem. Nibiru was considered the highest point of the ecliptic, marking the summer solstice's position. This wasn't just an arbitrary point in the sky, it was vital for their calendrical system, influencing agricultural practices and religious ceremonies. The tracking of Nibiru and its association with specific constellations underscored its importance for ancient astronomers. These scholars of the sky leveraged their knowledge of Nibiru's path to guide agricultural cycles, plan religious festivals, and interpret omens, integrating celestial observations into the fabric of their daily lives. Drawing parallels between civilizations, Nibiru in Mesopotamian mythology and the Greek star Phaethon offers a fascinating glimpse into the universal human endeavor to make sense of the cosmos. Phaethon, the Shining One linked to the sun god Helios, was said to drive the sun's chariot across the sky. This myth, much like the significance of Nibiru to the Mesopotamians, illustrates the critical role celestial bodies played in shaping the ancient world's understanding of time, space. Both Nibiru and Phaethon's stories reflect a deep-seated belief in the power of celestial entities to influence or even dictate the fundamental rhythms of earthly existence. Zecharia Sitchin's The 12th Planet, published in 1976, kicked off a series of books that weave together ancient mythology, astronomy, and the notion of extraterrestrial life into a narrative that's as fascinating as it is controversial. Sitchin introduced the world to the idea of Nibiru, a mysterious, yet-to-be-discovered planet with a wildly elliptical orbit taking it deep into the cosmos, far beyond Neptune every 3,600 years. But where did such an out-of-this-world theory come from? Sitchin's answer: ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, which he interpreted as chronicling the existence of this 12th celestial body in our solar system, if you also count the sun and moon. At the heart of Sitchin's theory lies the Anunnaki, a race of advanced beings from Nibiru, who supposedly visited Earth about 450,000 years ago. Sitchin's narrative doesn't just place these extraterrestrials on Earth. It credits them with genetically engineering early humans to create modern Homo sapiens for the purpose of mining gold needed on their home planet. It's a tale that marries the genesis of human civilization with cosmic visitors, suggesting that the advanced astronomical knowledge of the Sumerians, including their awareness of Nibiru's orbit, was a gift from these otherworldly ancestors. Sitchin's proposal of Nibiru's 3,600-year orbit stems from his unique interpretation of the Sumerian numeral system and their concept of a great year. Despite the lack of concrete evidence from mainstream science to back up Nibiru's existence or its effect on our planet, the idea has captured the imagination of many. It's even sparked theories linking Nibiru to mass extinction events on Earth, with some suggesting that its gravitational pull might fling comets and asteroids towards Earth, triggering catastrophic events.
What we certainly do see here is a clustering right around 13,000 years ago. That looks pretty evident to me.
Sitchin's work draws an interesting parallel to the theories of Immanuel Velikovsky, especially those laid out in his 1950s book, Worlds in Collision. Like Sitchin, Velikovsky turned to ancient texts, interpreting them as accounts of catastrophic astronomical events that reshaped early human history and mythology. However, Velikovsky focused on collisions within our inner solar system, while Sitchin took the narrative further into space, introducing an extraterrestrial dimension with the Anunnaki and their distant unseen home planet, Nibiru. Both theories, while outside mainstream scientific consensus, offer a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility that ancient myths might hold more truth about our universe and origins than we've traditionally believed.
So here we got mythology, and here we have scientific evidence that Earth was blasted.
As the Mayan long count calendar ticked down to its final days in December 2012, the world was abuzz with talk of apocalyptic predictions. Central to the frenzy was the mysterious planet Nibiru, a rogue celestial body rumored to be on a collision course with Earth. This blend of ancient prophecy, modern-day conspiracy, and astronomical speculation had people everywhere wondering if we were on the brink of cataclysmic destruction. The idea was that Nibiru, invisible to astronomers yet somehow detected by those in the know, would either smash into Earth or come close enough to wreak havoc through its gravitational pull. NASA, stepping into the fray, did something quite unexpected for a scientific organization. It directly addressed these doomsday predictions. The space agency was clear. There was no evidence of Nibiru, nor any celestial threat looming on the horizon. If a planet were barreling towards us, it would have been spotted by countless eyes scanning the skies, both professional and amateur. NASA's extensive sky surveys, including those by the Wide-Field Infrared Survey Explorer, had turned up nothing that could be the mythical Nibiru. Enter Randall Carlson, a self-taught geologist with a penchant for catastrophism. Carlson has delved deep into Earth's geological record, uncovering evidence of repeated cataclysmic events that have dramatically reshaped our planet. From rapid climate shifts to massive floods and comet impacts, his research paints a picture of Earth's tumultuous history and its impact on human civilization. This is where things get interesting. Could a hypothetical Nibiru fit into this pattern of cataclysms? Some might speculate that if Nibiru existed, its elongated orbit could coincide with these catastrophic periods, possibly acting as a gravitational catalyst for comet showers or other disruptive events. The broader scientific community, however, frames these cataclysms within the context of natural Earth processes and known astronomical phenomena. Events like asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, and ice age cycles are recognized as part of Earth's dynamic history, but are attributed to natural causes rather than the influence of an unseen planet. The dialogue between speculative theories like Nibiru and the scientific exploration of Earth's cataclysmic past, as undertaken by researchers like Carlson, underscores our fascination with cosmic disasters. It reflects a deep-seated curiosity about the forces that have shaped and continue to influence our planet. While one path ventures into the realm of myth and pseudoscience, the other seeks to unravel the mysteries of our world through the rigorous lens of geology and astronomy. Together, they highlight our ongoing quest to understand the cataclysmic events that mark Earth's history and the cosmic ballet that plays out above us.
And the other thing that he's primarily about is giving the gifts of civilization. This is what you human beings need to know in order to move on to the next level.
Around 4,500 to 1900 BCE, the Sumerian civilization flourished in southern Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, and is acknowledged as one of the earliest advanced civilizations in human history. Renowned for its pioneering achievements in writing, architecture, and governance, Sumer left an indelible mark on subsequent cultures and civilizations. The civilization was situated between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in a fertile floodplain, often referred to as the cradle of civilization. This region's rich soil and abundant water resources were crucial for developing early agriculture and urban settlements. So what link brings the Anunnaki and the Sumerians together? The concept of the Anunnaki primarily derives from Sumerian cuneiform tablets, the earliest known form of writing. These texts offer detailed descriptions of the Anunnaki, depicted as powerful deities who descended from the heavens to interact with humanity. Among these texts, the Enuma Elish, although a Babylonian creation myth, is heavily influenced by earlier Sumerian traditions. This myth recounts the creation of the world and humanity by gods, some of whom are interpreted as the Anunnaki. In this narrative, the god Marduk, who might be associated with the Anunnaki, defeats the primordial chaos dragon Tiamat and uses her body to form the heavens and the earth. Following the establishment of order, Marduk and the gods create humans from the blood of the god Kingu, Tiamat's chief lieutenant. This act of creation is believed to have been done to fashion humans as laborers for the gods, relieving the lesser gods of their burdensome tasks. Some theorists suggest that this myth reflects an ancient memory of genetic engineering by the Anunnaki, who created humans to serve their purposes. The Atrahasis epic provides another significant account of human creation involving the Anunnaki. According to this epic, the Anunnaki gods, led by Enki, create humans to bear the toil of the lesser gods burdened with maintaining the earth. The story begins with the lesser gods laboring to maintain the earth, growing increasingly discontented with their workload. In response, the high god Enki proposes the creation of humans to alleviate their suffering. Humans are created from clay mixed with the blood of a slain god, suggesting a divine origin that imbues humans with life and purpose. This myth also includes a flood narrative, where the god Enlil, displeased with human noise and disobedience, decides to exterminate humanity with a great flood. Enki, sympathetic to humans, instructs Atrahasis to build an ark to survive the deluge. The survival of Atrahasis and his family ensures the continuation of human life, a theme that resonates with later flood myths in various cultures. The Sumerians are credited with remarkable achievements in various fields, including astronomy, mathematics, and metallurgy. Their ability to chart celestial bodies, develop a sophisticated calendar, and implement a base 60 numbering system demonstrates an advanced understanding of the universe that some believe was imparted by extraterrestrial beings. Their astronomical knowledge is particularly fascinating. Sumerian star charts exhibit detailed knowledge of the movements of planets and stars. Some tablets even depict the heliocentric model of the solar system, a concept not recognized by mainstream science until much later. The Mul-Apin tablets, for instance, contain detailed observations of celestial bodies and phenomena, including the positions and movements of stars and planets, which suggest a level of astronomical knowledge that is astonishing for their time. In mathematics, the Sumerians made several innovations that continue to influence us today. Their base 60 system is the basis for our 60-second minute, 60-minute hour, and 360-degree circle. This system's complexity and utility suggest a deep understanding of mathematics that some argue could have been influenced by advanced beings. They also used sophisticated geometry in their architectural designs, including the construction of ziggurats and urban planning, which some theorists believe indicates advanced external knowledge. The precision and scale of these structures are impressive, hinting at an advanced understanding of geometric principles. The Sumerians were also highly skilled in metallurgy, working with various metals, including gold, silver, copper, and bronze. Their ability to create intricate jewelry, weapons, and tools from these metals suggests advanced metallurgical techniques that might have been influenced by the Anunnaki. The quality and complexity of their metalwork indicate a level of expertise that would be challenging without some form of advanced knowledge or assistance. Additionally, according to some theories, humans were allegedly created to perform laborious tasks for the Anunnaki, particularly in mining gold. This precious metal was supposedly needed by the Anunnaki to repair their home planet's atmosphere. This idea ties into the advanced metallurgical skills of the Sumerians, suggesting that their expertise in metalwork might have had a more profound and possibly extraterrestrial origin. Zecharia Sitchin's interpretations propose that the Anunnaki, an advanced extraterrestrial race, genetically engineered humans by combining their DNA with that of early hominids. This theory, although controversial, presents a fascinating alternative view on human origins. According to Sitchin, humans were created to serve as a labor force for the Anunnaki, particularly in their mining operations. Sitchin posits that the Anunnaki combined their genetic material with that of Homo erectus, an early hominid species. This genetic manipulation purportedly resulted in Homo sapiens, explaining the sudden leap in human evolution and the development of advanced capabilities such as tool use, language, and social structures. Some proponents of this theory argue that the rapid development of human civilization and technological advancements during the Neolithic Revolution align with the timeframe of potential Anunnaki intervention. In Sumerian mythology, Adamu is often considered the prototype of modern humans. Created by the gods Enki and Ninhursag, Adamu's story parallels the biblical Adam, suggesting a common origin for these creation myths. Adamu's creation from clay and divine essence might symbolize advanced genetic engineering practices. Enki's role as the god of wisdom and creation aligns with his portrayal as a scientist or geneticist in these myths. According to Sitchin, the primary reason for creating humans was to serve as a labor force for the Anunnaki, specifically in mining gold. Some ancient gold mines in Africa, particularly in regions such as Zimbabwe, have been cited by theorists as potential sites of these early mining operations, purportedly initiated by the Anunnaki. The Sumerian king list is an ancient manuscript that lists kings with improbably long reigns, some lasting tens of thousands of years. These records are often cited as evidence of the Anunnaki's influence, suggesting divine or semi-divine rulership. Before the Great Flood, the Sumerian king list records reigns of incredible lengths, implying that these rulers were more than human. This has led to theories that these kings were either Anunnaki themselves or directly descended from them. The extraordinary lifespans of these pre-Diluvian kings suggest a direct connection to the Anunnaki, who were believed to possess advanced longevity and possibly immortality. After the flood, the reigns of kings become shorter, but are still unusually long by human standards, indicating continued but diminished divine influence. This transition might reflect a gradual withdrawal of the Anunnaki from direct involvement in human affairs. Many Sumerian kings claimed divine ancestry or patronage from the Anunnaki, legitimizing their rule. This connection to the gods reinforced their authority and right to govern, establishing a theocratic system where kingship was seen as divinely ordained. Numerous artifacts from Sumer exhibit technological and artistic sophistication that some interpret as evidence of advanced external influence. Among these, Sumerian cylinder seals stand out for their intricate designs and complex imagery. These seals often feature detailed depictions of gods and mythical creatures, some of which are interpreted as wearing advanced gear, such as helmets and suits, suggesting possible extraterrestrial origins. The seals also depict scenes of divine beings interacting with humans, possibly representing the Anunnaki's involvement in human affairs. These artifacts are seen as crucial evidence of the gods' direct influence on Sumerian society. Some cylinder seals even depict scenes that might represent the genetic creation or manipulation of humans. These images support the genetic engineering theory, suggesting that the Sumerians were aware of or witnessed advanced biological processes. Such depictions add another layer of intrigue to the already fascinating narrative of Anunnaki contact. There are also unusual artifacts resembling descriptions of ancient flying machines, known as vimanas, found in other ancient texts. such as the Hindu epics. These objects might indicate advanced technology that was beyond the capabilities of known human civilizations at the time. The presence of such artifacts suggests that the Sumerians either possessed advanced technology or had contact with beings who did. This supports the idea that the Anunnaki provided technological assistance or left behind technology that influenced human development. Sitchin's theory posits that the Anunnaki originated from Nibiru, a hypothetical planet with a long elliptical orbit around the Sun. This planet's existence is controversial but continues to intrigue many. Sumerian texts are said to reference Nibiru, suggesting an awareness of a complex solar system. Some tablets describe a 12th planet beyond Neptune, which some interpret as Nibiru. This aligns with modern searches for Planet X, a hypothesized planet in the outer solar system. The detailed astronomical knowledge contained in Sumerian texts indicates a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. The precision of their celestial observations suggests possible external guidance or instruction. The alignment of ancient Sumerian structures, such as ziggurats with celestial bodies, indicates sophisticated astronomical knowledge that might have been imparted by the Anunnaki. These alignments suggest that the Sumerians built their monuments based on astronomical principles and celestial events. This impressive architectural precision adds to the compelling evidence that Sumerian advancements in various fields could have been influenced by advanced beings.
He knew a mystery when he saw it, and he couldn't explain it. We should be open-minded enough to consider the possibility that some of the answers may sit outside of our current perspective.
What do conventional archaeologists say when they're confronted by all of this data?
Ever wondered what went on inside those magnificent pyramids of ancient Egypt? Well, buckle up, because we're about to delve into the fascinating world of the ancient pyramid texts. These inscriptions carved onto the pyramid walls around 2400 to 2300 BCE are like a window into the hearts and minds of the people who built these incredible structures. These texts weren't just random scribbles, they were meticulously crafted during a pivotal period in Egyptian history, the twilight of the Old Kingdom. This era is famous for the iconic pyramids, those towering tombs for pharaohs. The pyramids themselves are a testament to the Egyptians' architectural genius and their deep understanding of math and engineering. But the pyramid texts are more than just historical footnotes. They're the earliest known religious writings from Egypt, offering a glimpse into the beliefs and practices of this ancient civilization. They're like cultural snapshots showing how art, architecture, and religion were all woven together. The pyramids themselves were seen as the ultimate expression of both religious devotion and the pharaoh's supreme power. Speaking of power, the pharaohs of the Old Kingdom weren't just seen as leaders, they were considered living gods. This concept of divine kingship was the glue that held society together, justifying the pharaoh's absolute authority. The pyramid texts are all about this. They're basically spells and instructions meant to help the pharaoh navigate the afterlife and join the gods, further solidifying the idea of their godlike status. Imagine a society where the pharaoh is at the top of the pyramid, wielding immense power. That's exactly what the Old Kingdom was like. This centralized system allowed them to mobilize the massive resources and manpower needed to build the pyramids. It also meant the government had a tight grip on things, controlling people and resources to a great extent. But running a complex society like this wasn't a walk in the park. It required a well-oiled bureaucratic machine, and that's what the Egyptians had. This network of officials kept things running smoothly, organizing labor, managing resources, and handling the countless details of daily life. It was a sophisticated system for a sophisticated society. We've talked about the cultural significance of the pyramid texts and the social structure of the Old Kingdom, but how did they manage to pull off such massive building projects? Building a pyramid wasn't like putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. It required serious resources and manpower. Imagine this: hauling giant blocks of stone, transporting them for miles, and feeding a whole army of workers for years on end. That's what the Egyptians had to do to build the pyramids. It was a massive undertaking, requiring a well-oiled economic engine. Here's where things get interesting. Contrary to popular belief, the pyramids weren't built by slaves, but by a paid workforce. These workers were likely skilled laborers, artisans, and even seasonal workers, and they were treated pretty well. We found evidence of medical care, food, and even some form of compensation. So how could they afford all this? The answer lies in a concept called economic surplus. Basically, they had enough resources left over after taking care of basic needs like food and shelter to invest in these grand projects. This surplus came from their mastery of agriculture thanks to the Nile River's annual floods. These floods enriched the land and allowed them to grow more food than they needed to survive, freeing up people to work on other things like, you guessed it, building pyramids. But the pyramids are more than just piles of stone, they're symbols too. Many believe they represent the rays of the sun, a pathway for the pharaoh's soul to reach the heavens. This symbolism is deeply connected to the pyramid texts, which are filled with references to the sun god Ra. It all goes back to the Egyptians' belief system, where religion, royalty, and the universe were all interconnected. Speaking of connections, the pyramid texts are like the great-grandparents of later Egyptian religious texts. They paved the way for things like the coffin texts and the Book of the Dead. These later texts show how Egyptian beliefs evolved over time, adapting and becoming more accessible to people beyond just the pharaohs. So we've explored the economic engine behind the pyramids and the deeper meaning they hold. But let's not forget the pyramids themselves. They weren't just giant piles of stone. They were meticulously designed and built with a specific purpose in mind. Imagine these pyramids as giant tombs, built to house the bodies and possessions of pharaohs after they passed away. But they weren't just storage units. They were designed to help the pharaoh's soul on its journey to the afterlife, and that's where the pyramid texts come in. These inscriptions were like a guidebook for the pharaoh's soul, offering spells and protection every step of the way. The most famous pyramid containing these texts belongs to Unas, the last ruler of the 5th dynasty. His pyramid, located in Saqqara, was the first to include these inscriptions, paving the way for future pharaohs to follow suit. Think of it like a new trend. Once Unas did it, other pharaohs like Teti, Pepi I, and even Pepi II decided they wanted pyramid texts too. These texts weren't just scribbled on any old piece of papyrus. They were painstakingly carved into the very walls of the pyramids by skilled artisans. Imagine the dedication and precision it took to etch those intricate hieroglyphs into stone. This not only shows the skill of the craftsman, but also highlights the importance of the texts themselves. They were considered so sacred and valuable that they deserved a permanent and prominent place within the pyramids. Speaking of sacredness, these texts were like the holy scripts of their time. They contained spells, prayers, and hymns, all designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife and even his transformation into a god. The fact that they were placed inside the pyramids, which were themselves seen as sacred spaces, further emphasizes their importance. But here's the interesting part. Initially, these texts were an exclusive club. Only the pharaohs got to enjoy their benefits, further solidifying their divine status in society. It kind of reflects the hierarchical structure of the time, where access to certain religious practices and texts was restricted to the privileged few. However, things eventually changed. Over time, the concepts and spells found in the pyramid texts started to trickle down to the broader Egyptian population. This led to the development of the coffin texts, and later the famous Book of the Dead. These later texts mark a turning point, making spells and rituals for the afterlife more accessible, not just for the pharaohs but for regular people too. So the pyramid texts, originally exclusive to the pharaohs, became the seed for a more democratic approach to the afterlife in ancient Egypt. Now, imagine unearthing a piece of history that rewrites what we know about writing. That's exactly what happened in the 1920s when the Kish tablet was discovered in the ancient city of Kish, Mesopotamia. This wasn't just any clay tablet. It was a game-changer, offering a glimpse into the very origins of writing and the fascinating society that developed it. Kish was no ordinary town. Located along the Euphrates River, it was a bustling hub of trade, politics, and culture, attracting people from far and wide. This melting pot of cultures likely played a key role in the birth of writing, as different people brought their own symbols and ways of record-keeping, eventually leading to the development of proto-cuneiform script. The discovery of the Kish tablet itself is a story of collaboration. Archaeologists from the Field Museum of Natural History, led by Stephen Langdon, joined forces with other experts to uncover the secrets of Kish. Back then, excavation techniques were evolving, becoming more systematic and meticulous, which was crucial for carefully preserving and documenting this historic find. But what's so special about this tablet? Well, the writing system on it is like a Rosetta Stone of the ancient world. It's one of the earliest examples of written communication, showcasing the transition from picture-based symbols to the complex wedge-shaped script known as cuneiform. This shift reflects the growing complexity of Sumerian society, as people needed new ways to keep track of things. The creation and use of the Kish tablet also hint at a well-organized society. Imagine a city-state managing resources, governing its people, and even engaging in trade with other regions. Writing wasn't just about leaving messages, it was essential for recording transactions, laws, and important decisions. But the impact of writing goes beyond practicalities. It opened doors for cultural expression and the preservation of knowledge. With writing, the Sumerians could record their myths, laws, and historical events, ensuring they weren't lost to time. This paved the way for the rich literary traditions that flourished in the ancient Near East. The Kish tablet is a reminder that writing wasn't just a random invention. It was a necessity for keeping complex societies running smoothly. It also opened doors for cultural exchange and the preservation of knowledge across generations. This discovery continues to spark debates among scholars, with some questioning whether writing originated independently in Mesopotamia or was influenced by other cultures. The mystery surrounding the exact function and content of the tablet adds to its allure, making it a captivating piece of history that continues to captivate archaeologists and historians alike.